Over here, the Irish Times went with the headline, Corbyn launches Labour's most left-wing manifesto in a generation. Okay, the one in 2017 was solidly left-wing. So yeah, Labour has put out its red book, I guess. It's time for real change being the election slogan. A lot of research indicates that simple messages tend to resonate with the electorate. So let's get into it a little. Jeremy Corbyn says he accepts the opposition of the billionaires for his proposed tax hikes on the rich, so that he can fund what he calls world-class public services. So let's talk some numbers. A proposed tax increase of more than 80 billion quid a year, with the vast majority of that burden falling on the shoulders of the very wealthy, poor little billionaires. Extra money is being pledged for the National Health Service and the country's schools, as you'd expect. Labour wants to change capital gains tax, bringing it to the same level as income tax. A proposed rise in corporation tax from 19 pence to 26 pence in the pound. New proposals for taxing multinational corporations are in the manifesto. Recent Tory cuts to inheritance tax would be reversed under Labour. Tuition fees for universities scrapped, which would help a lot of lower income working people have a chance at getting into higher education. Windfall taxes on oil and gas companies, yeah. One of the biggest selling points, so to speak, is the radical plan to shift to a low-carbon economy as soon as possible. A so-called green transformation fund would be needed, so they would have to borrow 250 billion to fund this. The goal would be to make the UK the greenest country in the developed world while creating a lot of new jobs and opportunities in the process. So, more ambitious targets than the Tories, as you might expect. Of course, under Labour, the UK would be looking at a round of nationalisations. If Mr Corbyn gets into number 10, Royal Mail, BT Openreach, the National Grid, and various finance schemes would be nationalised. Another strong selling point, especially with younger people, one would think, is the idea of a living wage of at least £10 an hour. That would help a lot of folks out. Many business leaders hostile to this, unsurprisingly. Labour's Brexit policy, pretty simple. Get a deal which includes a permanent customs union protecting British jobs and the Good Friday Agreement. Then put that to a public vote with the option to remain in the EU. And Labour is saying that they can get this done in 6 months as opposed to years of negotiations and wrangling if Johnson and a hard right government stay in power. Yeah. I've listened to Johnson, Corbyn, Swinson, Farage and others making their pitches for the December 12 election. Issue for issue, in terms of ambition, in terms of vision, in terms of progressiveness, it's Labour people should support in the UK. So, yeah, I encourage people to go out and vote Labour, ladies and gents. Peace.